welcome to the Tea and a Butty podcast. I'm Dominic.
And I'm Erica.
Today's episode is going to be about some episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. That's all you need to know.
3 episodes, I think.
3, are we...
I think we're 3 in.
3 in. I thought we were 4 in. It's about a Netflix show that we've just discovered called Sex Education.
Yeah. I'm not sure, how late we are. Maybe this is already a thing everybody knows about.
It probably is. I mean, I think the first season was January 2019, so we're already a year late.
Okay.
On this binge train. The binge train that we do every so often. And, we just got a subscription to Netflix, and we thought, oh, you know what, we'll just binge some shows.
Everything.
And see how much... we've watched a couple of movies so far and a couple of shows.
Yeah, we were watching a lot of... We were going down a spy hole.
A spy hole?
We were crawling through a spy hole.
We weren't going down a spy hole. We were doing our spy business. That's what Erica likes to do when she's spying on the neighbours. She likes to say it, and I say, what you doing? And she goes, gotta do my spy business.
Oh my god.
Yes, you do.
Doesn't all happen.
It does happen every day.
We've been watching a lot of spy shows and crime
teaching Erica how to do a spy business.
Kind of things, and so we were like, you know what? We need something lighthearted. We need something
some light sex education relief.
We need something funny. We need something, I don't know. And this show came up, and I watched the trailer for it on Netflix, and
you thought it was going to be...
It looked a little bit, silly, obviously. Yeah. But I thought it was going to... It sort of gave me In-Betweeners vibes.
Yeah, if you haven't watched The In-Betweeners, the British show...
Yeah.
Then...
Oh, God, yeah, because they did a horrible version over here.
They did, yeah. It came on MTV, and it was cancelled after 1 season because it was terrible. Yeah. The original In-Betweeners show came on Channel 4. Mm-hmm. Or was it? Maybe it was E4 in the UK, I'm not sure. Which is essentially the same thing. And it was about a group of teenagers, and it was basically it came out when I was a teenager, or just on the cusp.
Did it? I think you were already grown.
You mean I was already grown?
I knew you, so.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, when did it come out then? 2000. I was just out of my teenage years. And it came out, and my friend was like, "You've got to watch this show. This was us in school, Oh
my
God. So we, and yeah, I just about met you, because I remember, I just got out of the thing. I was just like, oh, we're just watching this show. You won't like us. And you were just like, well, no, what is it? Tell me what it is. I was like, no, it's a British thing. You won't get it. It's not that funny. It's kind of boy humor.
It's very much boy humor, but it is funny. But anyway.
And then you looked it up.
Yeah.
Without my permission.
You were
doing your spy business. She was doing a spy business, everyone.
It was on YouTube. Yeah, okay. The point is...
Because I called you back a day late. You were just like, well, I've done my spy business and I know what you're talking about now.
Shut up. Oh, God. I swear, if we can ever get through a podcast without you...
Without you doing your spy business?
Anyway.
Back on track.
The point is that this Netflix show, it's a British show. Everybody in it is British.
Yes, everyone is in it.
Is the creator actually British? Did we look that up?
I think they're British, yeah.
But it's not in between.
It's not in between.
There's some raunchy,
it's
humor.
Raunchy humor, yes.
There's some vomiting and
it's teenage humor, yeah.
Yeah. But it's not really In-Betweeners.
It's watchable.
It's bizarre, actually.
For adults,
It's a bizarre show.
It's quite bizarre, yeah, because when we were watching the first episode, I was like, where are they? And, what year is this?
So first of all, before we, get into the bizarreness of it all, the premise of the show is that you've got this main kid whose
Otis
name is
Milburn.
Otis, yeah.
Played by Asia Butterfield, or Asa Butterfield, who was the boy in the striped pajamas, and he was in Hugo. So if anybody's seen those films, then you'll know who that is. He leads the cast. Emma Mackey, she's a relatively new actress. She plays Maeve Wiley.
Yeah, I think her IMDb was like, this is like
they're,
literally her first thing.
They're relatively all newcomers to, TV or, big production,
Yeah.
Except for Asia Butterfield, I guess.
Yeah, so he's the main character. You have his mom, though, who is...
Gillian Anderson.
Yeah.
X-Files,
And she is a sex therapist.
She's a sex therapist, which has given him kind of like a hang-up about sex.
Yeah. It's given him
he doesn't want to talk about it. Complex. He doesn't want to do it. You know, he's kind of like...
He doesn't want to think about it. It like icks him out. It stresses him out.
It's not normal for a teenage boy to be like that, That's what they're kind of like implying there,
I
it's
mean,
like,
in theory.
In theory.
Yeah.
That's what they're, they're saying, he's... Because, all his friends are talking about it, obsessing over it, and whatever. And he's just there going, not really. Not really for me. Not my cup of tea.
Yeah. So that's basically the premise of it. And he goes to school, and without, like... Well, I mean, I don't know how much we can really ruin it, because we're only 3 episodes in. He goes to school, and everybody kind of finds out that his mom is a sex therapist, and they're making fun of him for it and stuff. And something happens, I can't remember exactly, but he ends up sort of counseling one of the kids in school.
The school bully.
Yeah, who happens to be the headmaster's son.
Yeah.
He ends up counseling him on his sex problem, and it works. And this girl who is Emma Mackey.
Yeah, Maeve Wiley. She's the girl that's, everyone stays away from.
Yeah.
This is where the weird...
She's like, she's dangerous. She's
dangerous.
Yeah.
And, she's like edgy and, and she got shorts on, She got eyebrows,
She decides, you and I together can make money out of this.
Yeah, I'll handle the clients.
I'll find the clients, I'll take their money, and then
you give them advice.
Yeah, you give them advice. So that's basically where we are. And that's, like, interesting, I guess. It's a bit silly, of course. And
it's a bit silly. Of course, there's silly stuff in it.
But
he's got a friend.
Yeah.
Played by Shutai Gataiwa. I think that's how you pronounce his name.
Okay.
He plays Eric Effiong. I think I'm pronouncing that right. He's his best friend. He's his best friend who's openly gay.
Yeah. He's super cute.
Yeah. I mean, he steals the show in some of the scenes. Yeah, he kind of
does. Really.
Yeah, I think that when I was reading up on this, I was like, yeah, he's been nominated for like best supporting actor in the BAFTA and all that.
You definitely find yourself laughing at him.
Yeah, and I mean, they've kind of like praised him for not being the stereotypical sidekick.
Yeah.
The token gay guy.
Yeah.
So, and, they've given him his own kind of storyline a little bit. Well, I'm presuming.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, we haven't
because, when you're reading up on it, it's already been 2 seasons of this, and they're going to make a 3rd, I believe. But, yeah, it's...
I was hashtagging, if you guys follow us on Instagram, which you should be if you're not, it's Butty.
Butty.
Teabutty.
And in case you don't remember our names, I'm Dominic, and this is Erica.
Erica, yeah, we did that like
or maybe I'm Erica
ago.
And she's Dominic. I don't know. We'll have to do our spy business to find out.
Oh my god. When I was hashtagging sex education on Instagram, because I just did a story, because on Thursday we're going to be
talking about our sex
talking
education.
about actual sex education. Yeah, our experiences with sex education.
Oh, and it
school.
Was wild, people.
Anyway.
Lots of spy business.
Oh my god. Anyway, when I was hashtagging just the word sex education for the purpose of talking about our school sex education, and this show came up. So it's obviously popular enough. It obviously has a big enough audience that people have been hashtagging it on social media.
Yeah. It had I think the first series had 40 million streams or something.
It was like Sex Education season 1 was a hashtag, and then Sex Education season 2. I've never heard of this show.
I think I have, but I thought it was just going to be like a silly...
Mm-hmm. Which it kind of was. The first episode...
The first episode was quite silly.
We were a little bit like, don't know if we're going to get into this.
But a lot of I'm thinking a lot of teens watching this will be able to relate. It's relatable.
If you were a teen watching it, it would be
it's like how I felt
so
with...
hilarious.
Yeah, it's like how I felt with In-Betweeners, you know.
Which, I mean... putting on my mature adult hat here, I don't know that it's entirely appropriate, actually, for teenagers to watch.
It's definitely not appropriate. How dare they?
I mean, if they're going to be teenagers, they should probably be almost not teenagers anymore. They should be on the...
Yeah, because I think they're like 16, 17.
Yeah.
That's how old they are.
Yeah.
In the show.
And I'd say 17 is probably okay, but maybe younger than that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's me being a bit of a prude, or a bit of a, I don't know,
Victorian.
In the mud.
Bit Victorian. Victorian attitude.
But anyway, yeah, getting to the bizarre aspects of this and some of the reasons why we weren't sure whether we were going to get into it at first is because of the setting.
The setting is weird. Yeah, it's set in modern day Britain.
Yeah.
You can tell that.
But where in Britain? Because it's very, it's super hilly, which obviously
they
Britain
film
is hilly.
I know, when I saw it, I was like, yeah, that's got to be the Wye Valley. Which is
where?
Between England and Wales.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, a lot of it's set in Wales. It's not set in Wales. It's set in the fictional village of Moordale.
It's full of trees.
Which is like Moordale is in England. We're guessing,
Yeah, it's full of trees. It looks like they do a lot of wide shots and panning.
It's the Wye Valley. Yeah.
They do a lot of overhead shots, drone kind of footage.
Yeah.
And it looks like Europe to me. It looks like what I would imagine, I don't know, somewhere around the Swiss Alps or somewhere,
Bavaria or something like that. Yeah.
There's a lot of trees.
But it's the Wye Valley, and that's where it's filmed.
Okay, it's very beautiful, but it's definitely not what you think of when you think of England.
Well, I mean, yeah. What do you think of when you think of England?
When you looked at that, did you automatically go, yeah, it looks like England?
Well, I knew it was probably somewhere in rural
because
England.
I was like, where is this? Is this the Lake District or what? Because...
Yeah, I mean, that's what I thought. Maybe it's somewhere around there. But then when I looked it up, it was the Wye Valley, which is Hay on Wye. The Wye area is it's the border of England and Wales, just around just up from into the Midlands almost.
Oh yeah,
somewhere around there.
Okay,
I mean,
so sort of up where Snowdon is.
Yeah, a little bit more south than that actually. But yeah, and a lot of the scenes there's a guy, the head boy is a swimming champion, and there's a lot of swimming pool scenes.
Yeah.
And that's filmed in a leisure centre in Newport, I think, or something like that. So it's a lot of it's filmed in Wales and some in England. Yeah. So it's on the border there. So it's this is a fictional.
It's very beautiful, but my experience with Britain has been that when you see it from above and when you see it from the top of a hill or something like that. And you and I have
because you saw all of Britain from the top of the hill. Because you were doing your spy business.
Shut up.
Yeah, that's.
Oh my God.
I hope you've all got a drink, because every time I say spy business, you got a drink.
God.
And you probably are already drunk and not even listening to this anymore, and you're looking for Twiglets or Cheez-Its or whatever.
Anyway, my experience looking at Britain, though, is that there's not as many trees as what there are in these episodes of this show.
That's kind of like a stereotype you had, or
no, just what I've seen.
Oh, it's very like, industrial.
What?
I don't know.
I don't know who you are talking about. No, mine is like it's mostly countryside. It's just countryside, open fields.
It was your mum, I think.
Rolling hills, but there's not that many trees. Like the trees are very sporadic. They're kind of planted around the edges of the farmlands and
Oh, yeah.
It's like they're not like
a lot of
packed,
open farmland,
They're not like packed together like you see over here or you see in like...
lush woodland,
obviously
like the 100-acre wood.
Obviously you guys have forests and woodlands and stuff like that.
100-acre wood.
But I have not seen enough of them for that to look like Britain to me. You know what I mean? Yeah. What I've seen has just been like rolling green hills and just like trees are sporadic, and
you did say before, it's like, oh, there's not a lot of trees in Britain. It's not what you're talking about. And I think it was your mother who said, or maybe you said to me that your mother thought it was going to be like industrial or something. We were watching Downton Abbey or something. She goes, oh, this is kind of not what I imagined England to look like.
What?
I don't know.
No,
it was this was years ago.
Welcome to just us having a conversation and this no longer being a podcast.
No, yeah, I do remember that though.
Mm.
That's anyway. And maybe you said, oh, I think she thought it was like industrial or very city-like in there.
I have no recollection of this whatsoever. So.
Well, you're horrible at the spy business then, aren't you?
So anyway, the setting looks to me weird. It does not look to me like what I picture England to look like. There's no cottages. There's no stereotypical English looking buildings or like scenery. I don't know. And then in addition to that, the
time period.
Yeah.
When is this set?
When is it? Yeah, we were like, when is this?
When is this? Because it's like, oh, it's clearly modern day because they've got cell phones.
Yeah, but the very opening scene of the show, the very first scene, is a guy and a girl in bed together, and they look like her hair is all feathered out like Farrah Fawcett's style.
Yeah.
And
because their wardrobe as well. Yeah, their wardrobe.
Yeah,
and hair
she
and
was
makeup.
wearing like bell bottoms.
Yeah, it's like and coming to like look it up. It's like, because they had I was like, oh, when is this? Is this a period drama?
Well, I thought we were seeing like a flashback. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because the mother and the house and everything looks very 1970s.
Yeah.
Yeah, with all the like flowery kind of like thing and like the out of date appliances.
It's all sort of like angular, like Brady Bunch style.
Yes.
Like there's wood paneling and
yeah.
Again, which is not things that I associate with British houses or anything like that to look like,
Yeah, which we'll get to again.
Okay, go ahead then.
Because it's modern technology exists like smartphones, but the show features very few cars from after the 1990s. Yeah, because I noticed that. I was like, what are those cars they're driving? They look like they're from the like 70s or 80s. I remember there's like an Austin Mini.
Yeah.
And stuff. And I was just like, when is this supposed to be set?
Yeah.
And they're wearing clothes that look like they came straight out of like Back to the Future, Marty McFly in the 80s.
Yeah, well, Otis does. He's got that kind of puffer jacket that's like.
And then I started
80s.
to figure it out. It's like, oh, it's very Stranger Things.
Yeah, it does.
But I'm like, yeah, they're not saying what year it is or when. They're not like. It's not a period drama.
Yeah. But they obviously have cell phones. There's a scene, I think, where they pull out DVDs or something like that. But then there's another scene where they're playing a record.
They're playing records.
He's like, they're playing records. And I was like, yeah, but like, vinyl is a thing again. It's back.
Yeah, but it's like, no, it was like, it never went away for them. Like that's their normal way of like, like, whereas we just hit like, on our phone, we look up some music to play.
Yeah.
It's like they wouldn't think of ever to do that. It's like smartphones are like, whereas everybody's on their smartphone now. Everyone's got their nose in their smartphone. They're looking at Instagram, whatever. they hardly ever use them in this.
Well, no, I don't know. I don't think that's true, because there's a couple of episodes already where they've sent around, like, viral type video things on the phone. Everybody's got their phones out going, ha ha ha, laughing at
they get them and go,
it
ha ha ha, and then they put it away. That's weird. That's Stranger Things. because honestly, you go around, someone's got their smartphone in their hand, almost everyone, and it's like, smartphones take a back seat, which is a kind of comment, I think, is like, oh yeah, we're going to do this kind of retro style.
Yeah.
And it's a tribute to, like, the Stranger Things tribute to John Hughes films of the 1980s, where everything looked like the time period, that it was set in.
I mean, yeah, everybody's
but then there's also this
a mixture
American style.
Well, yeah. The fashion, though, really quick before we get on to the American style. The fashion is very much like 1950s to very early 1990s, but not even really 1990s. It's mostly more like 50s to 80s.
I'm going to say it's all of a range between 1955 to 1995.
Yeah. I would say except
with heavy emphasis on the 1980s and the 1970s and 1980s.
I was going to say that Maeve looks probably the most modern with her fishnets and her combat boots and stuff.
She's early 2000s.
But that's still sort of like, you could have put that in the punk period of the 80s with her piercings and the pink streaks in her hair and, the leather jacket and everything. That still could have gone along with the 80s.
Yeah.
So... But anyway, yeah, the American element. Because like we said, this is set in Britain. Everybody in it is British.
But
there's a couple of people you've seen from other things, like Gillian Anderson and the headmaster.
The headmaster's been in a lot, the bank job and all that. Yeah, he's been in a few things. I think he was in Star Wars Rogue One, actually. But yeah, no, it's funny because on the Wikipedia it says, as well as older cars, the show heavily features older technologies such as CRT televisions, which is no flat screens.
Oh, I don't
It's
remember
all
that.
they've all got like box TVs,
Oh yeah.
and there's TV, like the old TVs. In the hospital she was in,
Oh, yeah,
it was like up in the wall. It's like, yeah, that was something I saw like late 90s, early 2000s. Like everyone's got a flat screen now.
Yeah.
Dated household appliances, the fridges look and the cookers look like they're not like modern style. The decor of the Groffs, the headmasters, is like reminiscent of popular 1970s decor.
Yeah.
And Maeve's caravan is typical of the 1990s to 2000s. Yeah, I guess so. It looks like that.
Yeah. So it's a little bit like this village, wherever.
Yeah.
It's set in these mountains or these hills or whatever.
In the Wye Valley.
There's nothing.
Moordale.
But it does not appear that there's anything else around. Like, it's just very cut off from the rest of civilization.
So they've just kind of been like going in a loop.
Something like that.
Yeah, they call it like a floating timeline, I think. It's like... But it's like...
Or it's just supposed to be like, you
bubble.
don't know. Yeah.
Because it's kind of like that with Stranger Things. They're kind of in like that. They're in... They're...
No, that is set in the 80s, I think.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is set in the 80s, but it's like, when is it set, Because there's a lot of stuff that's like
they don't mention a specific year, but
maybe, yeah.
But it's the 80s, yeah. Everything
do they? Yeah, I can't remember.
Everything they refer to, the Ghostbusters, and then
I know it's definitely 80s, but it's like when in the 80s.
Yeah, I mean, just 80s.
Just the 80s. The 80s as like all 10 years.
But yeah, then the other thing that was weird to us just watching this is the Americanization of a lot of things.
Yeah.
Which again was not like Britain. I didn't grow up in Britain or live in Britain for an extended period of time, but I've spent enough time there to recognize that some things are not... I was just like, what? They just didn't look normal,
Yeah, the Milburn's house, which is the main character's house, is a more modern decor with a modern American style fridge.
Yeah.
The Moordale High School also it's called secondary school as well. Shows some elements of UK secondary schools as well as having a more American high school image.
Yeah.
The lockers were the big giveaway.
Yeah.
No one had them in Britain.
I think we asked, didn't we? And somebody in Britain was like, "Yeah, we had lockers at my school."
Yeah, but how old were they?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because when I was in school, it was like, I was on a committee that actually asked. They was like, get lockers. I was like, and I asked. I said, "Oh, they want lockers," and they were just like, "Yeah, we have not got the money for that. We're not going to put lockers in. They take up room. Where are we going to put them? And why do you need a locker? You got your bag."
But yeah, there's lockers in the high school. The high school is absolutely huge.
It's huge. It's like an Eton type place.
Yeah. And one of the main things you said, or Dominic said, was that in a school that big and grand, and because it's a very beautiful looking building too, he's like, they would have uniforms on, and they don't.
Yeah, it's a high school with no uniforms, which is dead giveaway. It's an American image. Yeah, like they've got lockers, and it's like very kind of like, oh yeah, Pretty in Pink.
Yeah,
like John Hughes films, very like American, and I'm guessing that's more to do with like, oh, we wanted to do that, but it's like, I think it's more to do with the fact that they want to like generalize that type of thing because Stranger Things was so huge, and it's to appeal to an American audience over here, so it's like they're not gonna watch it. Like, In-Betweeners was very British.
It's like it's a show that's made for Netflix, I guess. So they want to, and it's all British cast and
British people won't mind generally, but Americans won't watch it if it's like too British. It's like, oh,
we want to attract an American audience.
Yeah, and it's
American
like, oh,
kids,
you remember this, you remember those Pretty in Pink.
One of the things besides the lockers that jumped out at me was that the head boy, which we don't have head boys, so that's a British thing, but the head boy was wearing a leather jacket.
Yeah, like he was like the school
jock.
heartthrob, yeah.
The jock. The jock guy, that's what the jocks wear, yeah.
And it's just like, oh yeah, and there's like the popular girls, and then there's the geeks. And it's, it's very like an American high school hierarchy,
Yeah.
A caste system, if you want to call it that,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's obviously deliberate, obviously they're doing this.
So that kind of turned us off a little bit because we were just like,
oh, okay, what's going on here? It took us the first kind of thing because, if you're an American who's just watching the show, you just think, oh, it's just like that, they just got British accents, and sometimes they mention British things like a curly whirly and Marmite or whatever, and it's just kind of like,
yeah.
But, I can see why they did it, really, because it's like, oh, it's to get an American audience.
Yeah.
And it had 40 million. I don't know how big it is in America, but I think it was quite famous in the UK.
Yeah, let us know if you guys have heard of the show, if you
watch it, and if you think it's good,
Yeah, let us, yeah. If you watch it, definitely we want to know what you think of it.
Yeah.
Is it worth us continuing?
I the second and third episodes, I started to get into it more.
It has started becoming more British. And by that, I mean that you've got the comedy aspects, but they've added a little bit of drama in now, this third episode. A
little bit of drama, very British, not just like your crazy American Pie humor and
right, yes.
Just like, oh, there's no drama here, there's no seriousness here, it's just all for lols, all for the lols.
yeah.
But now they've started adding drama, and they've started adding the spy business.
Oh my god.
No, they haven't really. There's no spy business, but there might be.
But yeah, I mean, I'm not like totally 100% invested yet, but
we'll give it another watch. We'll give it another chance.
Yeah, it's good. We're enjoying it so far. We obviously thought it was worth talking about on here because there were so many like just bizarre and interesting elements to discuss. If you do watch it, let us know what you think about it. If you find any of these things weird, or does it take you out of does it take you out of watching it, or...
Yeah, because, I guess to, like, the average, like, American viewer, it wouldn't. They're just like, oh, they just got British accents.
Well, I don't know, because the fashion is so weird. It's not like anyone...
Well, that's just, again, you're assuming that the lay American person, the layman, watching it...
Yeah.
Or British person, even...
They might think,
give a crap about fashion,
This is the way they dress in Britain.
This is the way they dress in Britain. Well, it's just crazy.
If it's a high school kid watching it, they're gonna know. Well, this is not how we dress. This is not how people look on TikTok. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. But anyway, on Thursday we're going to continue our discussion about sex ed.
Yes.
Only we're going to talk about our experiences in school, and just to see, we haven't talked about it yet off mic. I don't even know what to say. Not off camera, because it's not being filmed, but
it's not being filmed.
Behind the scenes, we haven't really discussed it yet. So we're gonna save that discussion for that podcast.
Yes.
So we can see what the similarities
We'll have a conversation on air, like you said earlier.
Yeah, on air. Like the differences, what if there were any differences, whatever. And we did put out a question on Instagram and Twitter for you guys to let us know what your experiences in sex ed were like, if you can remember. That's going to be a little bit of the problem, is I don't know how well I'm going to be able to remember what it was like. But we'll see anyway. Thank you guys, as always, for tuning in. We really appreciate your support, and we will talk to you next time.
We'll talk to you next time, everybody.
Bye.
And just for good measure, spy business.